music on that?
Hey guys, I am fire engineer John Hunt. I am the full-time paid firefighter here in Baxter Springs, and I have with me Lieutenant Karsten Creech. And I know you guys are stuck in your house and probably desperately want to get out. I know my kids at home want to get out and see the fire trucks, and we thought, well, maybe this way we kind of can and still follow the stay-at-home order from the governor. So we're just going to kind of show you a quick tour of our fire station, and then we're going to look at engine 50 next to us and some of the stuff that's on that, as well as maybe blowing the siren, seeing the lights, and maybe squirting water out of the deck gun on the truck. So it should be a lot of fun. Why don't you guys come on with us, and we'll kind of tell you a little bit about it. Karsten, you want to get us started?
So we'll start here. Right next to you, you see our brush trucks. These are our two frontline brush trucks. We send these on grass fires, as well as some of the second out trucks for car wrecks, and if we need additional manpower. This is brush 43, it's our newest one. And then it's sister truck brush 44, which is just a few years older. Over here on this wall, you'll notice all of our gear. This is where all of our firefighters keep our gear. It is a little bit cramped back here at times, but this is where we keep all of our gear. Back here, if you follow us, this is our tanker 45. It's slated to be replaced here in the next year. We do have a new one ordered. And then this is our third out brush truck, brush 42.
Some of the equipment we have here. Let's kind of go right behind the brush truck and show you this. This is our breathing air compressor and air cylinder. So whenever we go through air bottles on scene, we have to bring them back and put air in it, and that's basically what this machine does. It takes the air, it compresses it, and it puts it in those 4 bottles. We then take it from those bottles and put it into our SCBA bottles here. So, all right.
You guys will follow me. Over here we have our meeting room. This is where we hold our monthly meetings and our trainings, as well as where we do kind of our command center during severe weather and larger incidents. We can activate our tornado sirens from here, as well as have all of our access to our radios and our different frequencies.
Okay, so we covered everything on this side of the station. We're moving into the older part of the station. Just a little bit of history about our fire station. It was built in 1926. In the 50s, the firefighters decided that there wasn't quite enough room, so they took out personal loans to build this section of the fire station. And then I believe it was 1968, they decided to go ahead and finish out the station. They took out more personal loans and they built this back half of the station here. So the city built the original building, which is just these 2 bays, and then firefighters over the years took out the loans to build the rest of it. Moving over in here, this is engine 51. This is our rescue engine, kind of like emergency 51. That's where Johnny and Roy ride, I guess. Anyway, it carries all of our rescue equipment for vehicle extrications, for rope rescue, basically any kind of rescue you would need. This truck should carry the equipment to provide that service.
We have a question. They want to. Someone wants to know if they can get a ride on one of the fire trucks.
We may be able to do a virtual ride at the end of our presentation. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
All right. Very good. And then this last engine here is engine 52. It is our second out engines. It is the oldest. It's a 1995 model. It basically carries most of the same equipment as engine 50. However, it's our second engine out to a structure fire in town. So it's the one that runs the hose from the hydrant to the original engine. And then, or to the primary engine. Then we have our UTV We use it in brush fires, and it makes awesome honking noises. We use it during brush fires to run personnel around, and we used them quite a bit during the tornado to move personnel around when we weren't able to. We also have a great big air compressor back there. That's for the shorelines for the trucks, because all the trucks, the big trucks, have air brakes, so we want to keep the brakes up. All right. Next, Karsten, I'll have him show some of the equipment that's on the engine, and after we get around, we'll get in the truck and we'll go for a ride, and then we'll blow the sirens and
Do the fun stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
So over here is our tool compartment. So we keep a lot of our different tools. We've got different tools to pull down ceiling and get through walls and doors. We also have, come over this side, some different large bolt cutters to get access into some places that may be locked up that are still on fire. And we've also got this is called a piercing nozzle. We can actually shove it through the hood of a car or through a wall, and it will spray water out the side so that way we can access confined spaces. We keep a bunch of extra air bottles for our SCBA, our self-contained breathing apparatus, so that way we can still breathe clean air, which was what that compressor was for back there that John showed us. We have quite a few bottles on the truck that we can swap out in a moment's notice so that we can have more air and continue fighting fire. Different fire extinguishers and what we call our water can. This has 2.5 gallons of pressurized water. We have our generator, Sawzall, and then these are salvage tarps.
We have another question. Do you have a pole in the fire station?
We do not have a pole in the fire station, unfortunately. No.
When it was originally built, there was a pole that went from upstairs in the meeting room that was upstairs, and it came through the floor in between where the two engines are now. It's at the museum if you'd like to go see it.
After stay-at-home order's
Yes.
gone.
Right.
Here is our ladder compartment. So we have a 24-foot extension ladder and a 16-foot roof ladder. We also have some drywall hooks and just some different tools to pull ceiling down. It's a pretty long ladder. And although this is not the rescue engine, we do keep some rescue equipment on there in case we were to be on scene for a motor vehicle accident or something like that. We do have an original Jaws Alive here. This is the original Hirsch Jaws Alive. It doesn't get used much anymore, but it is still on this truck and it's still usable. We also keep chainsaws and roof saws to help us make access through walls or roofs during a fire.
We also, all of our hose are all of our large diameter hoses up here. This is a 2.5-inch attack line. If it's a large commercial building, we pull that, or a large home that may be fully involved, we pull the deuce and a half. The yellow hose there is our 5-inch hose. It's used to go from a hydrant to the engine to provide water supply. And then this last one is 3-inch hose. Nice job, Anna. And it's just, again, supply line. It can be used for attack, but it's a lot to move around, so we use it as a supply line also.
So we're coming over here to this side, the driver's side now. We have a big gasoline-powered vent fan. We use this during fires, actually at the door, and we pressurize the entire inside of the building so that way we can help push out all those bad smoke and gas. It helps keep the visibility clear for us and maybe make a better environment in case somebody was trapped inside. Over here we have an air pack compartment, so we have 3 extra air packs and masks. This is just in case we have any firefighters that show up to the scene in maybe a brush truck, which doesn't have air packs on board. They can still come to the engine and pull an air pack off and go start fighting fire. We do keep more air bottles, like I said earlier, so we have quite a few spares in place in case it were to be a large incident. This is what we call the driver's compartment. We have a bunch of extra nozzles for our hoses. This is an 1 3/4 fog nozzle. We have a 1.5 deuce smooth bore, as well as quite a few other tool sets, gas meter in case there were to be a need to look for explosive gases or anything like that. A lot more nozzles. This is a foam ejector. We can use it to suck foam up out of a bucket and put foam in our hose lines to help suppress the fire a little better. Coming over here, this is the pump panel. So this is where Engineer John Hunt would be at during most of our fires. He's the one that's ensuring that we get all of the water that we need at the right pressure and at the right time. He's got all these different gauges to monitor, so he has a very, very important job on the fire ground. These are all of our pre-connected hose lines. We call these our attack lines. These are 1 3/4. We have 3 of them, 150 and 200 feet. And these are what we pull in a fire. So whenever we show up on the scene of a fire, our firefighters will get out and they'll pull a hose out with its bundle, and they can immediately start going to the fire. And finally, to the front of the engine here, to the cab. This is where the firefighters will actually ride. So this is the driver's seat here. This is where our driver engineer John Hunt would drive. He's got quite a few gauges and things as well inside the truck to monitor. So again, very, very important job. Back here, firefighters will ride back here. We have 2 seats. There are air packs on board, actually pushed inside the seat, so that way whenever they sit down in the seat, all they have to do is pull the straps on and they can begin tightening straps and getting ready for the fire before we even get off the truck. So that way, as soon as we show up, we can get off the truck and be ready to go to work. We do keep different tools. These are called the irons. We have a Halligan and a flathead axe, as well as a thermal camera that we keep here on its charger base. This lets us actually see heat. And so even if there's no visibility from really dense smoke, we can still see inside the fire based on the heat. This is also what we call a pat tracker. This is for RIT, just a rescue tool for downed firefighters.
All right, so now we're going to get started and we're going to pull out of the station. We'll go for a ride around the block real quick. The alarm that's going off is actually an alarm for the seat belts before the truck can move. Everybody has to be belted and it's monitored right here. So the green light means there's somebody in the seat and their belt's on, and the red one that's now green means that everybody is seated and belted in the truck. Right. We'll turn the lights on and blow the sirens. Then we'll let the camera operator get out and take a video of that. And we'll squirt the deck down. The headsets we wear when we are responding to the call, it does 2 things. It helps us to be able to communicate in the loud truck, and it also protects our hearing so we don't have permanent damage from the sirens and whatnot. Here comes the exciting part of getting to turn on the lights. Of course, you can't see them, but
For those that are watching, if you have any questions, feel free to post them and we can ask our knowledgeable firefighters.
Well, let's step in here so it's not quite as windy.
Yes, she did say knowledge. She must not know us very well.
What kind of training do you have to be a firefighter?
That's a very interesting question. There's actually kind of two ways to answer that. For our fire department, we would like you to have firefighter 1 and 2. That's a fire academy type thing. You have to go and learn the skills, and you also have a knowledge test that you have to adhere to. Whenever you get on our fire department, we have it's about a 2-week long mini academy where you come in every night for 2 weeks, and we teach the knowledge and the skills that you need to be a firefighter. Joplin also, you have to have fire 1 and 2, and they have a 14-week,
Yeah, it's
7-week academy that they
finishing school.
So, it's a good question.
Very good. What else?
So we will see how this goes. We may be able to do this again next week. Maybe look at a different truck next week, but we'll just see how this goes. Hopefully it breaks the monotony of being home with kids that are screaming or tired or ready to do something fun and different. And hopefully it met that need.
Yep.
Do you have anything else?
We're very grateful that everyone that could attend and watch with us, and we appreciate everyone's support. We hope you guys are staying safe, and we hope to see you again.
Thank you, guys.